UFC Fight Night Vegas 36, Brunson vs Till takes place in only a matter of hours, and these are my last minute detailed predictions for every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. I'm not just saying who I think is going to win the fights, I did that earlier this week. I'm trying to call every single fight to a T, exactly how it's going to go down. I'm trying to call the finishing move, whether it be whatever limb KOs the opponent, whatever submission is used to get the tap, or if someone goes out cold. I'm also going to try and predict the scorecards if it makes it to a decision, and just generally how every single round of the fight is going to play out, however many rounds there are going to be in each match. Starting with the early prelim opener of Dalcha Lungiambula versus Marc-Andre Barriult. I'm going to go with Marc-Andre Barriult, and I think he's going to win this one by third round TKO over Dalcha Lungiambula here. I'm going to go with Dalcha Lungiambula in the first round, landing a couple of big shots. I think there's going to be some very tentative and hesitant moments in the first 2 minutes of this fight with Dalcha Lungiambula. Very explosive guy. I think Marc-Andre Barriult's going to respect that. I think Dalcha's going to have some moments where he rushes forward and lands a couple of good shots. I think whenever he does that, he's going to end up in the clinch with Marc-Andre Barriult. And I think that's going to be what Marc-Andre wants. I think he'll be kneeing at the fire. He'll try turning around Dalcha Lungiambula. Maybe Dalcha Lungiambula wins the clinch exchanges against the cage early on in the fight. But I think Marc-Andre Barriult's going to be okay with losing the first round here. I think he's just going to be more than welcome for Dalcha Lungiambula to try and work himself out against a clinch. And I feel like Dalcha's going to be winning the first round. I think I'm going to give the first round to Dalcha Lungiambula. I think he's going to land good shots. Marc-Andre's going to land a couple of leg kicks at range, a couple of shots to the body, maybe in the clinch, a couple of shots upstairs, maybe a couple of crisp jabs land on Dalcha. I think as the round goes on, Dalcha's going to win the clinch control against the cage. He's not really going to get what he wants from that. I don't think he's going to get a takedown in the first round. I think he's just going to be stuck rushing in, getting caught in the clinch, winning the clinch exchange, but not really getting the impact that he wants, which is a KO blow off Marc-Andre Barriult. And I think he's going to miss a lot of those haymakers in the first round. Second round comes around, I think the clinch starts to get a little bit more even. Marc-Andre Barriult starts landing some good knees to the body, a couple of shots to the body. He starts turning around Dalcha Lungiambula against the cage, landing better shots at range in the second round. Dalcha's still swinging hard. Maybe he catches Marc-Andre Barriult a couple of times, but Marc-Andre takes him quite well. I don't think he's going to be landing too clean as Dalcha. And I think Marc-Andre's just going to start getting a little bit more momentum towards the second half of the second round. And I think I'll give him that round. I think he's going to have a very strong last minute of round two. And I think he's going to be landing knees on Dalcha, landing good body shots, winning the clinch control. And I think you're going to start to see that Dalcha is not getting what he wants out of this fight. And he's going to start to look a little bit mentally defeated. Round three comes around. Very patient in the first minute. Dalcha's going to go for him after Marc-Andre lands a couple of jabs to the body, a couple of leg kicks, who knows. Dalcha's going to go after him, swinging like crazy. Marc-Andre Barriult's going to turn him round in a clinch, land a bunch of knees to the body. Dalcha's going to get hurt by the knees. He's not going to show it too much. He's going to stay standing, but I think Marc-Andre's going to start piling on some elbows against the cage, to the face, framing off the face, landing elbows, couple of big punches. Down goes Dalcha in round three. Marc-Andre Barriult gets it done. Moving on up the card, Julian Erosa versus Charles Jourdain. I'm going to go with first round KO for Charles Jourdain here. I think he gets it done nice and early, no problems whatsoever. I think Julian Erosa's good, just a little bit too wild, a little bit too open here and there. I don't mind it because he's not actually cutting all of the weight that he's supposed to, so actually does benefit him a little bit not to drain himself right down to the brink. He just got KO'd 3 months ago. I'm going to go with Charles Jourdain here. I think both guys are going to be landing some shots at range. Pretty even. Couple guys land leg kicks. Julian Erosa lands a couple of leg kicks. Jourdain lands a couple of leg kicks. Julian Erosa lands a couple of jabs. Jourdain lands a couple of jabs. Jourdain lands one big, massive right hand straight on the jaw of Julian Erosa. Down goes Erosa. Jourdain finishes him on the ground. TKO to strikes. Julian Erosa gets put away in the first round. There's not really much else to predict. I just think it's going to be back and forth, both guys landing decent shots. All of a sudden, Jourdain's putting him out cold with a big punch, and Julian Erosa's just a little bit too reckless. I think Julian Erosa gets caught throwing a check hook. That's what I'm going to predict, and gets TKO'd in the middle of the cage in round one. Moving on up the card, Jack Shaw versus Liudvik Sholinian. I think that Jack Shaw's going to win this one by submission, and I think it's going to happen in the second round. In all honesty, I think he's going to get a second round rear naked choke over Liudvik Sholinian. I think it's going to be a close first round. Not a close first round. I don't think it's going to be a close first round. I think Jack Shaw's going to win the first round quite comfortably. I think in the first 3 minutes of the round, Sholinian's going to try and get in Jack Shaw's face. I think he's going to be met with a lot of jabs. I think Jack Shaw's going to be jabbing his face off for the first part of the round, landing a couple of knees in the clinch, circling away, chucking Liudvik to the side, but Liudvik's going to keep the pressure, try winging some hooks, maybe land a couple of good hooks on Jack Shaw, but Jack Shaw's going to stick to the jab, landing it over and over again, chopping at the legs of Liudvik as well. I think he's going to land a lot of leg kicks in this matchup. Liudvik's very heavy on his lead leg, plods forward a little bit. I think Jack Shaw's going to chew up his lead leg, land a bunch of jabs. Around 2 minutes left in the first round, after he's landed a couple of good shots, couple of good leg kicks, I think Jack Shaw's going to go for a takedown. I think Liudvik's going to stuff the takedown, but I think Jack Shaw's going to use it to push Liudvik against the cage, get one hook in on his back, and start landing some punches. And I think he's going to have Liudvik's back at the end of the first round. I think he's going to be landing good shots, go into the face from the back position, sort of angling round and punching Liudvik. Liudvik's going to be trying to fight the hands. Jack Shaw's got a body triangle in against the cage, maybe even in the standing position. Maybe Liudvik's not completely on the ground. Maybe he's sitting upright against the cage. Jack Shaw can't quite get the angle or the leverage to get a rear naked choke finish. Round one's going to be over. Jack Shaw's won it very clearly 10-9, taken the back, landed good shots. Round two comes around, Liudvik's a little bit more hesitant to move forwards, starts getting hit up a little bit. Jack Shaw lands a couple of big shots, maybe tags Liudvik with a big right hand or something like that. That's going to make Liudvik think, right, I can't just sit here, I've kind of got to go forwards and try and make something happen. When he does that, I think he's going to be met with a massive reactive takedown from Jack Shaw. Double leg right in the center of the cage, GSP style, pins Liudvik to the ground. Liudvik's going to try and rush back up to his feet. As he does that, Jack Shaw's going to pounce on the back, put in a body triangle, this time in the center of the cage, and I think he finishes it by rear naked choke in the center of the cage around the 2-minute mark of round two against Liudvik Sholinian. Second round rear naked choke for Jack Shaw. Moving on up the card, Molly McCann versus Yeon Kim. I'm going to go with Molly McCann by 29-28 split decision victory. Very, very specific prediction there. I think Molly McCann's going to be doing okay. I think Yeon Kim's going to be keeping it at range, landing a couple of jabs here and there, but they're not fast jabs. They're just landing on Molly McCann, couple of front kicks, couple of leg kicks here and there. But I think Molly McCann's going to have the big moments where she wings over the top with big hooks, lands big punches, and I think maybe she'll be outlanded by a couple of strikes per round, every single round, but I think Molly McCann's going to go out there and land a way bigger shots, which is why I think it's going to be a split decision, because that's just opinion-based judging. Do you go with the person who landed more, or do you go with the person who landed the better shots? I think they're going to go with the person who landed the better shots. I think it's going to be something like 25-22 in round one to Yeon Kim, but Molly McCann landed a bunch of big hooks and had some moments against the cage where she landed a couple of body shots, maybe took down Yeon Kim at the end of the round and landed a couple of ground and pound shots at the end. She's going to be winning this one, sort of how Calvin Kattar beat Andre Fili. If you know, you know. It's kind of how Calvin Kattar beat Andre Fili. Very close. Kattar's getting outlanded on the feet, but he has big moments at the end of the rounds, and he's landing the way bigger shots in general. I think in the second round, Yeon Kim, 25-22 again, around that range. Molly McCann landing the bigger shots, and I think that's going to be the story of the rounds. And I think one judge might give it to Yeon Kim, and two judges are going to give it to Molly McCann. 29-28. I think Molly McCann gets this one done. Maybe the first round is up in the air. They don't know who to give it to, but the second two rounds are definitely going to be Molly McCann. I think she wins this fight as it goes on. Moving on to the main card, Paddy the Baddie Pimblett versus Luigi Vendramini. I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett here, and I'm going to pick Paddy Pimblett by rear naked choke in the first round against Luigi Vendramini. I think it's going to be a very, very good fight. I don't think it's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a very quick fight. In either way as well, I can either see Luigi KOing Paddy in the first round, or I can see Paddy getting an immediate hip toss to the ground control to taking the back to rear naked choke. But here's how I think it goes down. Paddy Pimblett comes out there, immediately throws like a switch kick to the head or something like that, just like a lead head kick or something, or like a front kick to the face, something weird and unorthodox that's going to make Luigi Vendramini immediately start off on the back foot. Paddy Pimblett's putting the pressure on him, bunch of feints, lands maybe a jab, moves out the way. Luigi's looking for the right hand counter off of the jab. He shows that he's looking for that. Unfortunate, Paddy Pimblett goes in again. This time Luigi Vendramini goes for him with a right hand. I think Paddy's going to meet him in the clinch, maybe partially take the right hand at the same time as well. They're going to meet in the clinch. Luigi's going to have rushed forward, which gives Paddy all of his momentum, and I think Paddy's going to hip toss him to the ground in the first round. Luigi's going to be on the ground. Paddy's going to take mounts against Luigi Vendramini in the first round as well. Start landing some good shots here and there, maybe a big elbow. Then Luigi Vendramini's going to give up his back to avoid being mounted or avoid remaining in mount. And Paddy Pimblett's going to take his opportunity, put in the rear naked choke as Luigi's turning around in the full mount position, giving up his back. And I think Paddy Pimblett gets the job done by first round. Rear naked choke to Paddy Pimblett. I think it's as easy as that after a hip toss, after Luigi rushes into the clinch with Paddy. Moving on up the card, Modestas Bukauskas versus Khalil, Roundtree Jr. I'm worried about this one. I picked Modestas, but sometimes he's a bit chinny, but I think he's just going to out-volume Khalil Roundtree Jr. Jr. might have some bigger moments, dropping Modestas, maybe with a leg kick, maybe he sweeps the leg out from underneath Modestas. I think maybe he lands a big shot in one moment in a round that rocks Modestas, and I think he's going to win the round based on that. We'll say that's round one, maybe. Modestas wins the majority of the round, lands more shots, but Khalil Roundtree lands less of them, but he sweeps him off of his feet with a leg kick, and also maybe hurts him at the end of round one and goes for it, but misses a bunch of shots, maybe. Then Modestas pulls it away in round two, starts landing way more shots, starts out-voluming Khalil Roundtree Jr. I think he's going to be chopping at the legs, front kicks to the body, a lot of range-finding techniques, some jabs to the face as well as he moves around. Khalil's going to start getting a little bit frustrated. I think Modestas is going to shoot a takedown at the end of the second round, maybe partially get it, but Khalil's going to work his way back up, but Modestas shoots again, takes his back against the cage, one hook in, landing a couple of shots, landing a couple of knees to the thigh of Khalil Roundtree Jr. as well, just wearing down Khalil in round two. Then round three, I think Modestas is just going to school Khalil Roundtree Jr., landing more shots. Khalil's going to use up all of his fast twitch muscle fibers, and Modestas is going to win this fight as it goes on by unanimous decision. 29-28, Modestas Bukauskas. Second and third round, he pulls ahead and has more volume than Khalil Roundtree Jr. Moving on up the card, Alex Morono versus David Zawada. I'm going to go with Alex Morono, 3-round decision, 30-27 on the scorecards. I think he's going to win every single round. No. Another 29-28. I'm sorry. I think that's how it goes, though. I think David Zawada, a little bit bigger, a little bit more explosive in the first round, lands some more big techniques, lands some more kicks to the body, some kicks to the head maybe, lands a couple of good shots on the feet on Alex Morono. Morono starts picking it up maybe at the last 2 minutes of the round, but I think in the first 3 minutes, the size and the range of David Zawada is going to be a little bit of a problem for Alex Morono. Morono's trying to find his way on the inside. Every time he tries to do it, maybe he gets hit with a big shot. First 3 minutes, go to David Zawada. Last 2 minutes start to even out a little bit. Morono starts doing pretty decently, but the first round is going to be Zawada's round. Second and third come around. I think Morono gets it done in the second and third. I think he just completely outlands David Zawada rounds 2 and 3. More volume, more activity, body shots against the cage, pushing him against the cage, kneeing up the fire, little stuff like that just to make David Zawada work. I don't see Morono going for a takedown here or looking for any kind of ground situation. I just see Morono just out-voluming him in the second and third round. I think Zawada's going to start with like a heavy pace, throwing big shots on Morono. He's not going to get what he wants out of it. Maybe a couple of the kicks get checked by the arms, a couple of his leg kicks get checked by Morono as well. Starts to feel a little bit of fatigue as the rounds go on, and Morono starts outlanding him like 1.5 to 1 in the last 2 rounds. So like if David Zawada's landing 30, Morono's going to land like 45 in those rounds, I believe. Alex Morono gets this one done. 29-28, unanimous decision. Second and third round, he gets those ones. Moving on up the card, Tom Aspinall versus Sergey Spivak. I'm going to go with Tom Aspinall, and I'm going to go with Tom Aspinall by first round KO here against Sergey Spivak. I think Spivak's just a little bit too slow of a starter, and I think Aspinall's going to go out there and immediately get it done. I think he's going to land a bunch of jabs on Sergey Spivak. I think he's going to see what Spivak has for him on the feet a little bit early, land a couple of leg kicks at range, maybe go for an oblique kick as well, just to find some range on Sergey Spivak, make him think about a bunch of different stuff. I don't think he throws any body kicks or head kicks or front kicks to the body or anything like that. I just think he waits for his moment, lands a couple of leg kicks, makes Spivak want to come forward against him, and as Spivak comes forward with a jab and maybe looks to close the distance, I think Aspinall's going to tag him with a very, very short right hand as he closes the distance, push him away from him in the clinch. As he pushes him away, Spivak's going to be a little bit wobbly from that right hand that landed in close. Then he's going to be wobbly, he's going to be against the cage. Aspinall's going after him, jab, jab, body shots from Aspinall. Spivak starts to lower the arms. Aspinall goes back upstairs with a 1-2. Spivak lifts his hands back up, and then Aspinall goes for an uppercut finish against the cage. I'm going to call an uppercut TKO in round 1 for Tom Aspinall after piecing up Spivak against the cage. As the fight goes on, Spivak goes to the ground. Aspinall finishes with a couple of big shots that are partially blocked, but Spivak isn't going to be improving his position in any way whatsoever, and Tom Aspinall gets the job done by first round TKO after an uppercut on a fully guarded Sergey Spivak. Boom, right up the middle. He's going to be landing a flurry of shots. He's going to wait, take his time, uppercut, he finds it. Down goes Sergey Spivak in round 1. Moving on up the card, Derek Brunson versus Darren Till. I'm going to go with Darren Till first round TKO here. I think Derek Brunson's going to go out there very, very patient in the first round. I think Darren Till's going to be very patient as well. Till won't throw any leg kicks or kicks in general until Brunson goes for a takedown or something like that. I think Till's going to want to see if he can defend takedowns before he starts going for kicks and leaving himself vulnerable to those positions. I think Brunson's going to be out there, test him range. Maybe he lands a couple of good kicks to the arms of Darren Till, but Darren Till's going to block him and sort of shake his head at Derek Brunson trying to throw those shots. Maybe Brunson lands a good body kick at one moment, but Till's going to slap his stomach and have a little bit of arrogance about him in the first round. Then I think Brunson's going to go in for a punch. Till's going to meet him with a left hand straight away, faster than Derek Brunson. Brunson's going to feel that. He's going to move backwards and think to himself, right, I can't really rush in again. I'm going to stay patient again. It's going to be a very patient first round. I think next time Brunson rushes him, I think he's going to dip under. He's going to learn his mistake of Darren Till waiting for the left hand. Darren Till's going to throw a left hand against Brunson. Brunson's going to duck underneath it, and as Till overextends with the left hand, he's going to leave himself vulnerable for takedown, but he's going to be against the cage. He's going to immediately work his way back up to his feet against Brunson, get the clinch. Brunson maybe lands a knee to the body on the break. Till moves out, circles away, and I think as he circles out of the clinch in the first round, he's going to frame off and land a big elbow on Brunson. Brunson's going to feel that elbow. Till's going to circle round. Now Till's got the center of the cage. Brunson's got his back to the cage, which is not where Brunson wants to be. We're about 3 minutes into the first round, coming up to the 4-minute mark. Till's going to land a pop-in jab. Brunson's going to rush forward again. Till's going to slip out of the way, land a left-hand counter. Brunson's going to get a little bit rocked. Till pushes against the cage, lands a couple more shots. Brunson shoots again. This time Till completely sprawls it, works his way back up to his feet. Brunson gets back up to his feet, but he's sort of staggering backwards. Still a little bit concussed from the big shot of Darren Till. I think Till closes the distance, lands a couple of good shots, lands a good left hand again. Brunson goes down against the cage, shelled up a little bit. The shots come in. I think it's going to be a little bit of a weird stoppage, but Till's going to get the first round finish against Derek Brunson. Big left hand, down goes Brunson. As he's trying to circle away and get away from his back against the cage, I think he's going to leave an opening, and I think Till's going to capitalize on it, land a couple of shots around the back of the ear area as Brunson sort of shelled up like McGregor did to Chad Mendes. I think that's exactly the finish you're going to see. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.